Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? A gracious good morning to you, good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. It is Friday morning. I want to say praise the Lord. Emphasis on the T. I'm gonna say that with my whole self person. Praise the Lord. It is January 30th. One more day till the month is over. It's 3:46 in the a.m. Yes, you heard me correctly. That is the exact time. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about something that I found oddly humorous yesterday. And some of you will get with me and some of you won't. First, I saw a video of a Gen X talking about how they were tough. This individual, how they were tough and how things were when they were a kid, and toys that were discontinued. They were going on and on and on. And I could relate. But I think some of you have the timeline confused. Some of you are boomers. And you're identifying as Gen Xers. Because a lot of the toys that were identified were toys that I enjoyed. Now I'm going to break down the timeline for the different generations here. Okay, so baby boomers are 46 to 64. That's 1946 to 1964. I'm a boomer. Gen X is 65 to 80. Okay? And so if you're born closer to the 80s, you're a Gen X. All right? And some of you very well may be Gen X. But what you fail to realize is the later end or the latter piece of the Gen X were raised by boomers. So you don't have to tell us, how hard you had it. You feel me? You don't have to tell us. See, we went through the majority of it, and you came in on the tail end, and you think you had it hard. We raised you. So the same things that you may be complaining about, you received as a hand-me-down as a result of us. So, things were developed, and it was a rapid progression of things in order for you to inherit. Because the toys that this man was complaining about, this individual was complaining about, were the same toys that I played with. And one of the things two of the toys, no, actually three, that he talked about, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. One of the toys was the Click Clack. This is two glassine, it was actually hard plastic, balls attached to a string, and the object of the thing was to make them make noise and to, get a steady beat with it. But what they didn't tell you was those bad boys broke after a period of use, or like everybody who watched the Karate movie and wanted to play with nunchucks, you jacked yourself up with those things. There's probably a bunch of people walking around squinting now as a result of those click-clack balls on a string. The other thing that he talked about, and baby, let me tell you, I can relate to this thing too. What they called gripper racer bike pedals. And those bad boys had spikes on them. They were usually metal. And like the first bikes that had gears, like the 10 speeds, had those pedals. And when your foot slipped off that, it was like running your leg across a cheese grater. I kid you not. You know, I have a scar on one of my ankles as a result of that and piecing together a bike that did not have a chain guard. Yeah. Which is going, this statement is going to lead me into what struck me as humorous. The last thing that the man talked about was the infamous Easy Bake Oven. It was a little stove that cooked food with the use of a light bulb. I think it was either a 75 watt or 100 watt light bulb. I don't even know if they have 75 watts. I want to say maybe 60 watts. That I do know. 60 watt or 100 watt light bulb. But it was a light bulb. But the man basically said that light bulb was Satan's light bulb. I guess being in that confined space, that plastic, and it had like little metal plates to intensify the heat. Oh yeah, there's many a scalded person from the Easy Bake Oven. Now, some of the little food that it made, you know, we ate it like, you know, we were cooking gourmet meals, but that thing was hot. Okay, jokes aside. So I overheard a conversation by a couple of Gen X folks who were upset because someone called them ma'am. Oh, I hate being called ma'am. Don't you? I just looked at them. And I basically told them, there's going to be a period of time where that's going to shift for you, and you're going to be grateful to be called anything. Now, I don't mind ma'am. Of course, I don't look like your typical ma'am. But as I've shared with you, this year I will be an official senior citizen, according to the age bracket. I will be 65. And I explained to them, your complaints to me, or your general complaints, are falling on deaf ears. I'm grateful to be to the point where I'm called ma'am. You know, I'm at that age now where the people that I grew up with are starting to pass away. And, you know, from natural causes and age. Yeah, so it's like, and the years go by fast. You know, somebody said something about maybe 5 years from now. I was like, 5 years from now, I'll be 70. I'm not considering anything that you consider significant. You know, I just want peace, and peace at all costs. So, I'm going to tell you about your happy self. I'm going to warn myself from the bridge that I burned. and you can go on about your business. That's where I am. And, you know, excuse me, because you're Gen X and you're starting to feel yourself, you know, you're good and grown, as I heard them say. You haven't experienced anything. You're just coming into your own. You're just developing flavor. And see, when you get to this stage, there's a difference between developing flavor and being well seasoned. And most of the people in my circle are now well seasoned.